We come to this place for magic, to the Riot Games arena, to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim and we go somewhere we've never been before, not just entertained, but somehow reborn, together. Dazzling images on a huge LED screen, sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our players feel like the best part of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here they are, the LCS. We make playoffs better.
Better every time I watch it. I can't wait to see that 4 more times at least.
Emily has made it clear that she wants it played as much as possible.
I think we should run it next year as well. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome to the waiting room. Also, we need to welcome to the show Fudge,
Hello.
a 3-time LCS champion,
And now teamless.
A 4-time LCS finalist. I'm not done. A 2-time first team All-Pro, 4-time All-Pro. Also, this man is 13-1 in LCS Cassante games.
Oh!
10-0 on Jax games. He's 15-4 against Licorice. 4-1 against Sniper. 6'4", benches 225, squats 285.
That one's not as
and it's rising. Fudge, welcome to the show.
You're basically a brother.
I feel like a boxer right now.
I had a lot more. They told me I had to cap it at that.
That's why you're asking me all those questions.
No, I'm genuinely curious. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I've been still working with C9, even though I'm not on the starting roster, but I've enjoyed watching their scrims and coming to their stage games and still watching LCS, so it's exciting. I'm ready to watch today's game. Whoever wins today is going to be actually playing against C9 in 2 days, so I'm going to be watching very closely.
So you take some notes.
Yeah.
Going to ask the players some questions during the meantime.
What do you mean?
Oh no, you're inquiring information from both of these players.
I'm going to be interviewing.
Yeah,
I'm going to be interviewing them post-series, so I'm going to have to ask them some questions to bait them. Into,
That's the game.
Picks.
I mean, this is the first split in a while that you haven't been playing on the LCS. And kind of on a more serious note, like how has, what have been the differences that you've seen, especially recently on Cloud9, kind of watching with having some time off? Does it change your perspective at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like people are very locked into certain ideas, whether it's on the team or just when I watch other players. But I kind of know what it feels like to be a player as well, and kind of just want to play these certain champions and not really want to switch up your style and not really having an open mind. I feel like that's a big problem that a lot of players face. And once I obviously stop playing and I just see take a step back, it's pretty obvious to me that people aren't really open-minded to changing the way they play and changing the way they think. Also playing a lot of different champions. I think when you play in solo queue, you're willing to play a bunch of different counter picks. You go into competitive, you're playing the same 2 champions every game,
Yeah.
I feel like that is a big problem that plagues a lot of the players.
In terms of, because I remember talking to you after you role swapped to mid, and then back to top, and you were like, that taught me a very different perspective.
Yeah.
How does this compare? Because it's much more of an outside, top-down perspective.
Yeah, I feel like this one has been a lot more eye-opening. Obviously, as a mid laner, I did learn a lot about how mid jungle wants to play, how you're supposed to help other lanes as the mid laner, but at the same time, you don't really get the full view of the game from the outside perspective. And obviously, just being able to watch scrims constantly, listen to all the players, talk to the players, it changes the way you view because you're not as in it, you're not as in the source, and you're not as emotionally invested, I guess. You're not you're kind of detached from the outcome, and that helps my perspective a lot.
It's going to be really interesting hanging out with you all day. So Fudge is going to be here the whole day, breaking things down in between games, covering a few champ selects. Let's check out the bracket from the playoffs so far. As you mentioned, the winner of today's game, which you see in the lower bracket, Hunter vs. Dig, will move on to play Cloud9 in what will be a Worlds qualification and Finals weekend qualification match. So there'll be some big stakes on that game on Sunday. Upper bracket final will be happening on Saturday as well. Were there any surprises to you, Fudge, looking at the the bracket right here, other than Cloud9 obviously not winning, because that was surely a surprise.
Yeah, no, C9 not winning, especially in that fashion where they kind of got stomped. I'm not gonna lie, we kind of got stomped, so it was kind of surprising. But at the same time, I think 100 Dig was really surprising to me. I thought like my view of like playoffs is a lot of it is mentally resetting and being able to like play throughout a series, and I thought Dignitas had a lot of experience, especially in like a lane swap meta now. I feel like the older the player, the more experience you have with those lane swaps, and they have a lot of like players with a lot of experience. So I expected them to be quite good during this playoffs. Obviously, getting 3-0'd was kind of crazy, but I also think they're very good at adapting as players, and they care a lot. Especially, I think Zven is very. I think he's someone that when there's a lot of pressure, he really performs, especially, and he cares so much about it, right? So I think they will definitely play a lot better today, and I'm hoping they do, because I think it'll be very funny to see Dignitas with C9, especially with like four ex-C9 players on Dignitas, so that'll be fun.
The ultimate spice matchup. This is just highlights of the last time they faced off. It did go 3-0.
That was, I would have said that was also as surprising to me as the C9 versus FlyQuest series, just because, 100 Thieves beat them in lane swap, they beat them in lane, they just stomped them, which I never would have expected. Because throughout the entire split, I was the biggest Dignitas coper the entire time. People were doubting them. I was like, guys, just wait. Like, they're extremely experienced players. They've been there before. They can communicate these things during problematic moments. Oh, the scrims are bad. Don't even worry about it. Like, they'll clutch up when it counts. And technically, this is when it counts probably the most. But now I'm off that ship. And so that comes down to, am I going to get off the ship when they're actually getting good? I have no idea.
We'll see. Hold on. I have some big-time cope for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So
here we go.
Here's
what we're talking about.
Here's what I think happened to Dignitas in the first series. Look at this game state right now. Yes, they are down 6,000 gold, but look at the scaling that they had. They had Kassan. Oh, dear.
Whoa, that's a lot of
Whoa! This is kind of what happened to them. There's a box on the bottom. Blue box on the bottom.
What windows are we in? Honestly, I like this. I think it's a challenge.
Between Folder and Mozilla Firefox.
Oh my God.
Blue box.
You're opening too much. Okay! That's a round of applause right there.
Analyst learns Telestrator in his 12th year. So, a lot of scaling on their team comp right here with the Ezreal Corki, and they've kind of just been absorbing this entire game, and this is game one of the series. So let's just remember what happened here. 100 Thieves peels off Baron, Dignitas get a couple kills, and they go for Baron. Now, just think about if they actually were to secure this Baron, they're probably going to win this game.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Game one of the series. Unfortunately, what does happen is Tomo and River do a nice MF ultimate into Viego ultimate steal of the Baron. And even afterwards, like, River goes down, Dignitas would have traded a few kills. The cope here, Raz, is I think after this game, because Dignitas fell behind and then stayed behind, they changed their drafts for the rest of the series. They started prioritizing more early game. They said, we're not going to be able to outscale. But I think if they had just stuck to the plan, or if they hadn't had that Baron stolen away, things would have been a little different.
So we're just ignoring the 6K deficit and also just saying they were tilted.
So yes, they did get tilted.
Yeah.
I acknowledge the 6K deficit.
That is true.
And it was about to be erased with the good late game scaling.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't as bad of a 3-0 as all of the 3-0s. Yeah.
Okay.
It was still a pretty bad 3-0, but I think it changed off of that game.
That's fair.
I hope they pick scaling, because that's the best way to
That's
go.
the way, exactly,
in NA
that's what I
playoffs.
mean.
And yeah, you're probably right that they probably won in that post game, and they were like, oh yeah, we got stomped too hard early game. We got to pick.
Because you know that happens a lot.
Of course, that happens every single time you play a playoff series.
Well,
you know?
That's true.
The next game was their Callista game, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think so, yeah.
We had the level 1 kill in mid with the Smolder versus Eri, which also happened last night. Not level 1, but in the LPL.
Oh, true.
We need to call our attention, Fudge. These are not pretty predictions. So we filled out all of our brackets before the playoffs started. I think one fun thing, aside from me being wrong about Dig beating 100 Thieves up here, because Emily predicted 100 Thieves to win, and Raz predicted 100 Thieves to win. But in the rematch, everybody flip-flopped.
Yeah. Every single one of us.
That is weird.
What's up with that?
You guys did not align. Wait, it was like 3-2 in most of them, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay, so that's kind of understandable.
Except, I don't know, Jat was too cowardly to pick game scores.
And
Yeah.
this is my case here, Fudge, is the idea that, and this is my last cope for Dignitas, which was like, the meta changed. I think they're slow to change with the meta, that I think it really does benefit, what's it called, Jensen and the squad. But like, I think losing to 100 Thieves was going to be 100 Thieves are going to be better off with how they brought in Tomo.
Yeah.
But B, the experience, once again, you're in the lower bracket, when everything counts, like you bring it together, the meta really does favor you. I thought it was at least going to be a 5-game series, and it was a 3-0. So that's why I'm actually completely swapping off that one. I think 100 Thieves are going to take it just as a kind of, alluding to what's going to be the rest of the show. But that was the thought process.
My copium is that Zven will be so mad that he's going to play out of his mind this series.
Okay.
That's
All
my
right.
copium. I trust in Zven. I think he's really, really good, and I think he is someone that can adapt really, really well after losing.
Yeah.
And I don't think they take it I think he especially takes it in a very good way. So I trust in him. And I just hope they play scaling. There is one thing in the meta that shifted a little bit since the last series, I think, which is the Nasus.
Yeah.
The Nasus Garen thing.
Nasus Garen
which I
Korean.
do think doesn't favor Jensen as much as it does Quid. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I assume they're just going to ban it because I don't see Jensen playing Nasus in my head. Like, that just doesn't compute.
That's
Let-
fair.
let's
What if he
out-
plays the Garen?
Let's check out the Quid versus Jensen
I don't
matchup
want to
last
see him.
time.
I don't even want to see him, Garen.
Yeah, this is the last time they played. This was also something that is not Jensen's best moment.
Yeah.
We rewatched that earlier. He did miss a few cues that maybe could have made that trade closer, but Quid definitely had Jensen's number in the first series.
Yeah, I do think Quid's a bit better than Jensen, I'm not gonna lie, but I just trust in Zven. I gotta put my trust in Zven.
Here's some of their stats on AD carries versus mages. Emily.
Yeah, I feel like this is super interesting because in our minds, right, we're like, oh, Jensen, mage player, he must be like super bad on AD. But the game record and just general like difference actually points to the fact that they're like pretty even.
Yeah.
I still think that Dig should go towards mages for Jensen because I think he does a lot more on the map when he's on mages. But I was surprised that the discrepancy was not nearly as high as I thought it would be.
Yeah, even though I've been loving the smolder look from Quid, specifically when I saw 100 Thieves succeeding last split, it was because they were already in deficits early on in the game, but the playmaker that would get them back in is Quid's Ari or Talia. They would always find something based off doing that. But a lot of the times when you're playing Zeri, Smolder, Lucian mid, you're going to be at the behest of your support and jungle to make the plays. So I think that hurt him quite heavily.
Another thing that you mentioned earlier, Fudge, about lane swaps and how it may have favored Dignitas. Emily, you were looking into some of the stats
So
with this lane
I'm
swapping.
gonna ask you guys some questions based on some stats.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So I know Fudge as a top player despises lane swaps. So I'm gonna pull out. This is the Quid versus Jensen matchup, which is cool. But I'm gonna pull up some lane swap versus standard lane statistics in a minute. So this is Dignitas, right?
Okay.
So they actually, just to be clear, this is only in playoffs.
Okay.
Which
How many-
means
how
that
many
this
games?
is 6 games and 2 games.
Okay.
And so most notably, this is 6th overall. This
Which is last, 'cause it's playoff
6th
stats.
overall. Yep. But this is first.
Oh
and
boy,
then
they got the dragon.
Yeah, in
Oh boy!
So it's really interesting to actually look at this because I feel like both of these teams have struggled in lane swap situations in both of their series, and Dignitas specifically struggled in lane swaps against 100 Thieves. But in the NRG series, they actually upped their numbers a lot. We're now going to look at 100 Thieves, which are even more disparate, I think, because they ended up. We pull it up here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is from the TL series, right? So 4 and 2. This is 1, 1, 1. So across the board, they're looking way better in standard, and I think a lot of it is just because this is against TL.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
my question is, if you are 100 Thieves or Dignitas, like, do you swap?
If I'm 100 Thieves, hell yes, I'm swapping. Oh, I only care about what we did versus Dignitas from 100 Thieves, and they murdered them in the swap. I am not judging my experiences based off Team Liquid.
You don't think Dig has improved in the NRG series?
They've improved, but is it enough is the question, and I don't think so.
All right.
Maybe I think Dignitas improved, and that's why they did very well with the lane swaps against NRG.
They did beat NRG.
And you could argue, like, Dokla's not good at lane swaps, NRG sucks at lane swaps. I don't care what you have to say. I think Dignitas is really good at lane swaps now.
Okay,
so
there we go.
Win.
There we have it.
I agree with Fudge. I think Dig should swap, and I think it's because when Sniper gets put down, it's such a pain point for 100 Thieves. Whereas I feel like when Licorice gets put down, he's just like, oh, it's another day at the office.
Yeah, I mean, he's used to it. Now he's played
Look at him, he's chilling. He already knows.
And Fudge, you have experience playing against both of these top laners, even just as recently as last split. We have some quotes on this top lane matchup as well.
Baby.
With these two playing up against each other, Licorice and Sniper. Pull up the quotes.
This one is just about their last time. After they lost 100 Thieves, he talked about how their scrims haven't been very good, making a lot of mistakes, like bad scrim team environment, but he was just talking about how he wanted to improve the scrim culture as a team, taking it a little bit more seriously, and also just working on their lane swaps. Funny enough, immediately after beating NRG, they said they were having the best scrims, like
Yes.
and all these things.
And it did not show up on stage.
And they also said that they were playing much better in lane swaps then. So if we're judging it based off of how they beat 100 Thieves and were very down on themselves, and then going into the series versus NRG, they are a different team in how they view themselves, but it wasn't looking too good after 100 Thieves.
Well, I think they got confidence now.
Yep.
A little bit, maybe not that much considering it was a 5-game series against NRG. And I also think that it is true that Jensen does tend to not take scrims very seriously. I assume he's alluding to himself and Jensen, because Zven definitely takes scrims very seriously. And obviously, scrim confidence does matter a lot when it comes to stage. I also think they are very good at adapting to lane swaps just because they've played for so long. I think they watch so many VODs, like Zven is super serious about that. And I'm sure they had a very long conversation about lane swaps and improved on it. 100 Thieves, I agree, when they do tend to get behind on top lane, they seem to be quite bad, honestly. Like, I just don't think they have as much direction. It's interesting with Tomo, though, because obviously Tomo, as soon as he came in, it felt like they had way more, like, direction. Maybe he added an extra voice that really like helped that team.
Yeah, it has helped them so much. We want to touch on Sniper really quickly as well, and then we'll get to Tomo, because this team has been on a surge of late. And this was Sniper before the first Dignitas matchup on Pros, just saying that it's a very good matchup and that he has a lot of confidence against Licorice. I think he did show that the first time against Dig, but I also say he's coming off one of his worst playoff series that he's had, aside from the first time he played against Cloud9. I remember Fudge really, he ran him in circles, but he had no idea where to be in that Team Liquid series.
Yeah, I feel like maybe after like one game, I feel like he doesn't really mentally reset as well after one loss. I was a little bit worried about 100 Thieves in playoffs because of that, right? Like, not a lot of their players have that ability to like rein it in after a loss and really mentally reset. And I'm a little bit worried for them if they do lose a game, maybe they tend to just play a lot worse. That's the feeling I got from playing against them, and then also just from watching them. So
it's like sweep or be swept.
But I do agree that Sniper is probably a little bit better in lane than Licorice, but I'm not too certain about like outside of lane. Obviously Sniper hasn't, I don't feel like he's improved as much as he had in previous split. I thought he improved a lot during the previous split and then sort of stagnated a little bit this split. But we'll have to see in playoffs. Obviously, you come with your best game during playoffs, and whoever's gonna, I don't really know who's gonna be the best now. But Sniper and Licorice, I think, are generally pretty even in terms of skill.
It's going to be a really fun matchup to see. And Tomo has been the big difference maker for 100 Thieves. If we look at some of his, we've looked at his stats before he joined versus after he joined, it's been a huge glow up. And then also his stats in the first Dignitas series were absolutely out of control.
Yeah, I think he was super happy to get revenge against his old org, right? Like, it's always great when it's like, yeah, you guys gave me up and then I just destroyed you 3-0. The big thing for me, not only does he give them just an extra point of pressure to play around, but I think that opens up, as we see his quote from after beating Dignitas. I think it does open up a lot more for the solo laners to get attention. Just having that stability in the bot lane. And to your point, Fudge, we actually have listened to some of their comms, and he's really, really vocal.
Did you just tweet that today? Oh my God!
Zvenmo?
Wow. He put a lot. there's like actual effort put into this.
Yeah, wow.
Who made that meme?
Yeah,
It was not
someone
him.
made it. He either nabbed it on like Reddit or something, or
I feel like
his team is-
someone made it for him.
Yeah,
I
somebody made it
assume.
for him. That is insane, though. And yes, like that series that he had versus Dignitas was also the same day he was accepting his Player of the Week award because he had just a great performance the last week prior. So I feel like he's playing the best that he's had in the career that I've seen him. And on top of that, him being able to communicate, that's the only thing you're hearing from the team is like how well how much he provides in game for the team.
Right.
So there's a lot there. I was worried for a little bit when he was coming in because I was like, okay, you're coming in from NACL during lane swap meta. I don't know how you can handle it. But he's been really adjusted and being able to handle it quite well. So I'm excited to see how he plays today.
Fudge, I know you're generally Team Dignitas right now.
Yeah, I am.
So
100%.
how much do you think the legacies and the experience of these Dignitas players actually matters in this moment? Because there's been this big debate, I feel like, all split about whether these Dignitas players are washed or if they're just going to scale into playoffs. But just knowing that they've won this many championships, give me your pitch on how much this matters or how they're going to win.
I mean, I think experience in winning gives you so much confidence. Like, all these 100 Thieves players, from what I can remember, haven't really like won. Like, not nearly as much as these players, right? And I think just having that confidence that you can win and having that experience of not necessarily being like the ones that are favored, but pull through anyway, I think can really give you a lot of confidence going into series like this, especially when, this is the last chance they have.
Yeah, I have one more as well. This is my pitch.
Okay.
Oh, here we
right.
go.
I didn't realize this was going to be
Jack
such a
has so many
Dignitas
dig
love
pitches.
fest.
That's a salesman.
But listen, it's time for a trip down memory lane. Fudge, you've been in some of these series. Lots of data here. But essentially, since double elimination, which started in 2020, so this series, as you can see, 2020 spring, these are only times where the same teams have rematched within playoffs, okay? A lot of people remember TSM winning this 2020 Summer Split, including Spica.
Yeah.
The first time he played Golden Guardians, though, he actually got swept. And then he won the next one. There's also another sweep on
where
here.
we're going with this.
Fudge, sorry to bring this up, but you did sweep NRG in the upper bracket, and then NRG won. So I'm just saying, the two times that a team has been swept and then rematched, that's one win for the loser, and that's 2 wins for the loser. Overall, we don't need to count all of these.
Wait
you can
a
for the
minute.
proof.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Everything else does
losing
not
team-
matter.
What?
The losing team is actually 6 wins. That's not a 6.
Yeah, what?
What
That's
am I
a
doing?
G.
6. Oh no, 6 wins. I'll get there. 6 wins and 4 losses. That's if you lose the first series since 2020. So I think it is actually harder to beat the team the second time, and the 3-0 only helps the team that got 3-0'd.
Take my money.
The team that won doesn't have to adjust to anything. They might be overconfident. They might think it's easy. Meanwhile, the losing team gets to make all these adjustments.
So, I think
sorry,
I think this has merit, but I also think that 100 Thieves are coming off of an absolute demolishing by Team Liquid, where since they are coming off of a loss, they too have to adjust.
True.
True.
Right?
But you
So
know
I'm
who's
just
coming
throwing
off
that
of a
out there.
win that will have more confidence against a different team is the team that just knocked Energy out.
It's confidence, but not too much confidence. That's
Yeah.
what you want, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Balancing
100 Thieves
act.
is mentally destroyed. They have no confidence. That's the thing. Like, they don't have confidence, but Dignitas does, but they're not overconfident.
Yeah.
You don't want to be overconfident. You don't want
Dignitas
to be
proved
no
that they can
confident.
bounce back from a loss. 100 Thieves hasn't
Exactly.
yet.
That's true.
This is some
Yeah.
excellent narrative building going on, guys.
So I think I've got a little too far over the top. I do think it's going to be difficult, but I think it's actually really cool going down memory lane there and seeing that the team that lost the first time actually, because so often we're like, we see the series and we say, well, it happened last time, hard to predict that it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Yet, I think it's pretty easy. Also, in case you missed it last week, you can now subscribe to the LCS Twitch channel. Paid and gifted subs will unlock an in-game emote, and all subs unlock the typical Twitch features like badges and emotes. Linked Discord accounts get access to sub-only chat and content. And lastly, this is important, Riot's going to match all proceeds from subscriptions to the LCS Championship prize pool.
Huge.
Yeah, when Core heard that last week, he was very excited. Either way,
Any Twitch primers? Anyway.
thank you, Fudge. Emily, you caught up with Sniper and Spica before today's series. Let's check that out.
I did.
Welcome everyone. I'm here with Sniper and Spica before their match today. I'm going to start with you, Spica, because you guys kind of got rolled by 100 Thieves last time. What have you prepared for the rematch?
I mean, I think last week we were just in a bad spot. And now we're in a better spot. I think going into that week's, our practice was horrible. So the results were kind of like not expected, because obviously no one expect to lose going to match, but it was like disappointing. So I think after that, loss, we really like reflected on it, and recently our practice has been going great. So I think this time it's gonna be the reverse.
Nice. And you got rolled by TL last week.
We did. We don't talk about that either, That was,
but you did beat these guys. So how was prep going into the Dignitas rematch?
It was pretty good, to be honest. We were kind of just like playing our own game. We were just playing how we normally play, but I think against Team Liquid, none of us were like that confident. So going into Dignitas, it'll give us like another confidence boost, and then we'll start like, we'll just go from there. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll start with coming off of a loss to TL, who is the best team in the league. How do you kind of shake that off when it was so one-sided?
I mean, I don't even think TL are like that insane.
Okay.
I feel like we just played really bad that day, and that was definitely like not the 100 Thieves that like we wanted to see on the day we played versus TL.
That's what I wanted to see.
That's what you wanted to see. Yeah, unfortunately that didn't happen. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We just have to keep moving forward and just learn from our mistakes, So yeah.
I'll get to you next, because I know you guys had good prep going into NRG. Very rough series against, I would say, a lesser opponent than TL. How are you recouping from that?
To be fair, the thing with NRG is that they could be anyone and lose to anyone.
True.
So it's not really a bad thing, right?
True.
But
all right.
I mean, I think we were still on the come up when we play against NRG. Just the last two practice has been great, and I think we learned a lot of stuff from NRG as well. So hopefully this time it'll be clean.
All right.
I think we're also figuring out, there's a lot of meta shifts, right? So we're figuring out what champs that we should run and things like that.
All right. Well, best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to join me. 100 Thieves versus Dig on the other side of this.
I really love hearing from the players before the series, but it is time to officially give our predictions. I'm 3-1 Dignitas. I think Fudge is Dignitas as well. Surely someone predicted 100 Thieves.
Whoa! So yeah, the reason why is because I flipped on Dig once, and I paid for it. So I'm just sticking with my original prediction.
You just like pain?
Okay, Raz.
Yes, I'm a
Why
masochist.
is the team that swept Dig last time miraculously going to do it again?
They beat them in lane. They beat them in swaps. They beat them in team fighting. I think they're just a better team. And I might just get more. Look, this is
delusional.
Look, like I have officially jumped the ship. I don't know what Discord voted or what the chat voted. I'm gonna look at the chat too. I'm gonna find out what you guys have voted. But I'm just saying right now, there's no way that you guys are still staying on this boat.
I'm surprised that everyone is. I thought I was going to be the only Dignitas prediction.
I'm just sticking with my original prediction, right?
Yeah.
Which is that they would beat them in the like swapping when they reface them again. So.
Well, we are only a minute and a half away from Champion Select, so let us send it to the stage to get into the games.
I will not back down. If you hit me, I'll hit you back.
Just let me cook,
We're gonna 2-0 them very easily.
Oh, he kind of like stole my whole flow.
Welcome back to the Summer 2024 LCS Playoffs. Today we've got a last chance lower bracket battle. Two teams fighting to keep their dreams of an LCS title and a ticket to Worlds alive. 100 Thieves are looking to repeat history after sweeping Dignitas 3-0 just 2 weeks ago. While Dignitas try to ride the momentum of their win versus NRG to prove that Dig season isn't over just yet. It's the lower bracket. No second chances, and your year is on the line. 100 Thieves versus Dignitas starts right now. I'm Azael, joined today for the cast by Emily and Kobe. We're back at it again, and this one should be a fun one.
Definitely a fun one. Really looking forward to this rematch. I think this one will be closer than the first time around. I'm going to throw that out there because 100 Thieves, they absolutely cleaned up last time that they played Dignitas. But Dignitas talking about how over the last couple of weeks, they have been improving a lot in the practice that they have been getting. So hopefully they have had some very constructive practice sessions these last couple of days, and we get to see the fruits of that labor here on stage and those improvements.
Yeah, it was cool getting to catch up with both Spica and Sniper before this, because Spica was like, you know what, we've had a good week of practice, we're feeling really good. If you remember, they said the same thing going into their match last week against NRG, and then were like a little bit disappointed in themselves, I think, in how close it was on stage compared to the practice they put in. But it is interesting to me that both of these teams have had time to adjust, because on the other side, 100 Thieves is coming off a really tough loss to TL where they just look completely outmatched.
And if I was on the 100 Thieves coaching staff, I would say number one thing we're practicing all week long.
Nasus.
Nope, lane swaps. Lane swaps, lane swaps. Nasus has been pretty fun as far as the topic goes for solo laners, both mid lane and top lane. But I would say lane swaps, because lane swaps are the big advantage that you can get against this team. It still feels like 100 Thieves, we keep on bringing up, you know, the young players on the team and how hard it is sometimes to add that extra workload of learning how to deal with lane swaps in the moment. But Dignitas, definitely something they will be keeping in mind from the draft.
Yeah, ripping through the first set of bans, 100 Thieves taking away Rumble, Ivern, and Poppy, while Dignitas ban out the Lilia, Azir, and Smolder.
Okay.
Thinking about their first pick here.
So Sniper is going through a lot of champs, but let's be real, he has played like 3 champs total. It is Renekton, Jax, and sometimes Cassante if he doesn't get the Renekton or Jax. So we'll see about the borders that he wants to push here and how diverse he wants to get in his champ pool. But they're going to start off actually with the Rell combo. So it immediately makes me think of like Misfortune combos here for 100 Thieves, but very interesting first prio Rell getting the engage guaranteed for Eyla.
Yeah, as we see, okay, we do have the blocking, Kobe. We do not yet know where that's going, if it is going top for Licorice or potentially mid for Jensen. I'm going to assume Licorice, but just based on these players.
Jensen is notorious for being a little bit slow to pick up new champions in changes in meta, especially like different types of champions, and Nasus is a very melee champ. As far as melee champions go, he is one of the most melee. Doesn't have very much mage play.
Yeah, and speaking of swaps, just because, again, we have a Senna, she's obviously really, really good in swaps. You can kind of stick her on the map wherever. But we did see in that Gen G series, the Nasus did not have a fun time when he was, pushed to top and then put in a lane swap. That was also going up against a Garen. This time it will be the Cassante, which I also think is a really good champion if you are going for a lane swap situation. And then they have Ziggs for complete turret destruction.
So last time we had Nasus actually was another Dignitas game. It was when Someday was on Dignitas in 2017 summer. So it's been a good 7 years since we've actually had it in the LCS. As you guys have been talking about, has been popping up in pro play in the major regions. You know, this split, we've had 11 games of it, 8 in top lane, 3 in mid lane. Hasn't actually been winning a lot, though. It's a 37% win rate in top. It's a 33% win rate in mid lane. But it is getting a lot of attention because it's something different. You know, early on in this season, like at the beginning of the year when they did the item reworks, people were playing First Strike AP Nasus, and that was getting some experimentation. There has been, talk for years about it as like a potential counter to Azir and stuff and the Emax. So I'm going to be interested to see where it goes and how they actually play it out.
I'm expecting, regular Trinity Force into full tank Nasus until we see the rest of the draft, though.
Yeah,
we'll
see. Me too.
We can see some extra spices here from Dignitas as we get into the second phase of bans here. The Vi taken out for the guarantee engage. I mean, honestly, both these players have played a bunch of the Vi super recently too with those buffs that came in.
Something I have been talking about a lot is I just want Dignitas to play what they are comfortable on, what they are known for. I think that is mages mid for Jensen and Nasus. Yeah, exactly. But with double AD carry and Nasus, that's already a lot of physical damage. I do think they're setting up for Jensen to be able to play a mage here. So there is potential for 100 Thieves to target some of the jungle pairings. They need some engage, definitely on the Dignitas side. So banning out the Maokai makes a lot of sense. Banning out those type of shamans that allow them to get in there to start out the fights, I think is going to be intelligent.
As we see the Quirky taken off the table by Dig, which, I mean, LCS has not had a lot of success with that champion lately. I think a lot of it is coming from the C9 series specifically, but still a good pick that you wouldn't want Quid to get his hands on.
And I think this is probably the most interesting matchup to me, is Quid versus Jensen specifically, simply because last time they played, it was so Quid favored. He had such a big advantage over Jensen there, and we're going really deep into draft right now, even though some technically flex pick mid lane champs have been picked, with the Nasus and the Ziggs both having possibilities of going mid. We both expect those to go to other roles at the moment, and so we're still looking at probably Dignitas saving counter pick for Jensen for the very end. Just throw down your jungle here, and we get another Amumu. Now, Spica has always actually been an Amumu lover. He has a bunch of games in solo queue on it as well from watching his stream. So he is no stranger to this. We did see contracts pull it out as well. But we've got Briar Hover, which is never going to get locked in.
I don't think that's
I always want to know.
Oh, I love Sylas into Amumu.
That's great.
Such a good ulti to steal. But I was just going to say, I was checking on the history for Spica. He has 4 games played on Amumu, all wins. So he hasn't actually lost on it in pro play in his career. But Sylas is one of these things that you sometimes forget about when you're having champions like Amumu or Malphite or these types. It is so ridiculously strong for the counter engage, and Nasus is also pretty decent to steal.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what River is gonna. Okay, so he's gonna end up going with the Nocturne.
Wow.
A lot of dive potential coming out of this 100 Thief side.
It's interesting because I've been wanting Nocturne recently with all of the Kennen top that got super popular. I was hoping we would see, like multiple engage angle, Nocturne compositions. But this one here with the Sylas counter pick, as well as slamming the Nocturne here, you have a lot of side lane pressure with Ziggs bombs plus Nocturne. When you go later into the game and you're thinking about
wait, it's Ezreal. It's gonna be Ezreal mid, I think, or is it Nasus mid? Is he gonna do Nasus mid?
And with the Senna, maybe.
Well, there's a lot of different stuff they can do.
Okay. They're having some fun with it. Let's keep on shifting them around. All right, Jensen will be holding the Nasus mid here. Nice. Now, Wukong also got some buffs that are pretty nice for the passive for top lane for laning. A lot better sustain, and very good versus Cassante there too with the extra armor. So I do like Licorice also pulling out the Wukong here. So a lot of nice little twists from Dignitas here. Their week of practice did not disappoint already. And then 100 Thieves as usual with some nice counter picks from them too. Namely this Sylas. We'll have to track Quid, see if he's able to have as big an impact this time around as he did last time around. There are so many amazing teamfight ults for him to steal, actually. It is, if Quid gets out of control, then it's going to be very hard for Dignitas. But Dig do have very good team fighting. With Wukong and Amumu and a Senna ult coming over the top, the hard engage and the AoE is there. This is pretty interesting. So now that it is going to be a Nasus mid, first time ever in LCS history we have had a Nasus mid. Nice. It's the first Wukong top since 2021. If you follow the WallW YouTube channel, that's where a lot of people are looking at these top builds from solo queue. Wukong was recently featured on that, with the top lane Triforce Conqueror build that has been kind of becoming more popular. So it's going to be interesting to see how they are able to perform. 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. We are heading on into game number 1 with some really interesting drafts. We wanted shakeups in the meta, and we are definitely getting them for this lower bracket battle. No more second chances for these teams. It's win or go home. Take down your opponent to keep your chances at Worlds and the LCS Finals alive. So, we talked a little bit about why Nasus is getting so much hype right now, namely Showmaker and Faker. Showmaker and Faker are 2 pretty popular mid laners. Very, very popular indeed. And it's interesting because they've gone all different builds. So Showmaker did the Airy once, the Fleet once as well when he was into the Garen for the extra sustain. But then also Faker then losing on it with the Phase Rush build, which is the build that Jensen is going for. So Jensen opting for the Phase Rush style for the extra move speed here to be able to navigate some of these team fights. That's what we talk about with Nasus sometimes is the mobility on the champ. You know, you can get your Wither out, you can get your E out, no problem. But if you're not going to be able to get in melee, then it's going to be hard to actually have that output. So that's the idea there with the Phase Rush pickup.
I would also say there's no good Wither target, right? Like, who are you withering here? There's no AD carry, right? So it is kind of interesting. 100
Definitely
Thieves,
Nocturne, but you have to worry about the spell shield, but that should be easy to avoid.
For sure, but it's just one of those things where it's like traditionally you think about how annoying it is to play into, especially a standard marksman like an Ashe or whatever that can't really kind of kite you out. 100 Thieves is doing a very atypical draft here. You know, they're playing a very different style as well, so it's not really kind of one of those normal strengths that you would have.
And one thing we are going to see coming out of this is standard lanes, right? There was no hint at a lane swap. And between these two teams, obviously a very small sample size, but 100 Thieves have been much better in standard lane setups.
And something we wanted to talk about, you know, obviously we already saw this matchup. Dignitas, you know, did get slammed by 100 Thieves, but Licorice looked so good in their series last week against NRG. He was really one of those standout players, especially in the lane swaps and on that Cassante. He really was a big carry threat. He had massive gold differentials. In one of the Cassante games, he was up over 5,000 gold. Another, he was up over 3,000 gold, which had been pretty incredible. So, you know, they're putting him on a carry here. They're putting that faith in him that he's going to be able to put in a similar level of performance.
Yeah, having multiple beefy frontliners there, but bottom lane.
Oh yeah, bottom lane, First Blood is already grabbed. We didn't see the start of that. Zven's going to be able to trade one back. It does go 1-for-1, and the kill went to Eyla. So honestly, for Dignitas, not too bad. I want to see how Isles did end up getting caught. He blew both his summoners there, and was the trade of all summoners from that bot lane.
Yeah, that's the big thing about Senna when, you know, the pro players have been getting right back into the Senna with all the buffs coming through. The one thing they do mention is, yeah, it is easy to burst down. She's still very squishy, maybe even more so with some of the new Enchanter builds. So we'll see about the positioning that led up to it, but it is double summoners off of that Senna, and that is definitely an area for River to try and attack. Nocturne right here, though, was just chased out, so going to have to go to the top side to grab that Scuttle Crab.
And we'll see what River is able to do here because the lanes have been pushing really, really well for Dig. Again, talking about how, as we go back to this bot lane kill, we'll see how this ended up happening.
Oh, nice satchel from Tomo.
That was really nice from Tomo.
Tomo's timing here. He knows Isles wants to get this soul off of him, so right after the Q, and he's coming in for the soul, as soon as you get to animation, throws out the satchel charge. That's a really good bot lane Ziggs play. Yeah. Sometimes the bot laner is a little bit slow on changing over to some mage-style champions, but really nicely done there. And then that made the follow-up from Eyla so easy. It actually does change how this game could go because 100 Thieves, their comp does rely on getting into side lanes later on, and that's going to really, really benefit from a Ziggs who can blow up those towers if he gets fed early. If they have some bottom lane prowess down here so early on in the game, it means that Eyla then gets to roam up to the other lanes to actually go gank. It's the best feeling when your support gains freedom from the bottom lane to go gank the other lanes. Yeah.
I mean, it was really nicely set up, but at the same time, it's now Eyla here without either summoner, and you're playing against this double range bot lane who can play, you know, a little bit more aggressively when those summoners are down, when there's not that, threat of that snap engage. And Zven did get the kill, whereas Eyla got it on the other side. Both of these bot laners are playing TP. Tomo has actually already gone back to base and TP'd back. As we have Jensen potentially in some trouble here, throws down the Wither, is just going to be able to walk this one out. You know, Quid taking these aggressive trades as you get lower. It does get really strong with the Kingslayer. You're getting that extra damage on your opponent. You're getting more healing for yourself. And River wrapping around here now. Jensen's done well to get to 6 without really too much problem whatsoever. And let's see, what is his skill order here? It is 3 points E, which is very, very standard. And then usually people max Q from here. Sometimes people will do extra points in E if they feel they're really pulling a matchup. But generally you want to start getting CDR, starting to really stack up those stacks where that's going to be a lot of your team fight power later on.
And the thing I'm most curious about as we watch kind of River on this bot side is where he's going to use that first ult, right?
There was no TP for Quid, by the way, so he's losing that entire wave.
That is rough.
Well, Cannon gonna soak up most of it, so
just lost 3 minions, I guess.
Yeah, just lose a little bit there. Not too bad. Coming back on the Cannon wave, though, we also have 6. So the Grubs are up, and River is going to head immediately over to them. Now, since Grubs gives so much experience, like this is such a juiced camp, this is really, really specifically good for Nocturne. The first ultimate you're mentioning, Emily, trying to get to that, the extra experience pack here for River will be quite nice, and we'll see if they could actually get down to punish the Senna quick enough. I think it's going to be a little bit rough on timing since that flash for Isles is coming back pretty soon, but maybe with the extra experience from Grubs, River's going to reset and might look down bottom to actually use it. It is going to get traded out during the Grub timer for the Dragons, kind of as expected here for Spica, though. Especially with Amumu, you have to worry about counter ganks early on, too. When you're Nocturne, if you fully commit and get in there, it can give Amumu a very good counter gank ultimate angle and turn around some of those kills. So tracking that enemy jungler first before you full send.
And I always feel like there's a lot of pressure on Nocturne to get good value out of your early ultimates. The cooldown is so long. You know, it's 140-second cooldown. He's not building any CDR. He has that early team out, which is going to help him farm even faster. But you really have to be on point with that. Nice buffer on the E there from Zven. It does jump back from the Shattering Strike as Eyla connects.
Yeah, that's why I am really curious to see where River ends up, especially since when we think of how successful he's been on this 100 Thieves team, it's really with him being able to play around his solo laners.
And usually where the Nocturne's going to end up is at the end of his clear.
Yes.
And that is usually going to be another full clear for top down. So River is doing full top down again, full clear. And that will end up bottom, but it does mean because he goes for the clear, it's not going to have the timer for the flash play for Isles. So Isles will have the flash back up. And Senna always does have the ability to go into the Shroud. So you're going to have somebody to be able to ensure you can actually keep vision and keep that play going, which would be Eyla going for another all-in down there if they did want to send it. But some extra vision there, and Quid goes to clear out the ward.
We haven't really checked in on it yet, but so far top lane looking pretty good for Licorice, who does have about a two wave lead there. Is playing Grasp actually instead of Conqueror. And when you play Grass top on the Wukong, a lot of it is just about actually getting Grass blocks with your Q, because you get 165 bonus range on that Q. So often in these melee versus melee matchups, you can actually get that Q from range, and they can't necessarily get that Grass trade back. So you can kind of poke and prod away pretty nicely in these setups. He is stacking that wave to push back in, so obviously Sniper will be able to collect some of this and even it up a bit, but still going to be a good 10-12 CS lead at the end of the day. And Licorice putting himself in a pretty good position here to have an opportunity to carry, much like he did last week.
Interesting. So Sniper's got 4 grass procs, but Licorice, wait a second. Licorice had a full 18.
That's the Q, man. The range is so long. If you play it well, you can just proc it, very easily over the minions.
Crazy spacing. That is.
It's like almost like playing against Gangplank. It feels like at times. I've played it against it a few times where people space really, really well because you have so much extra range. And if you walk forward, they can clone back and it can get really messy.
Yeah. It must have been some really good clones too, because I figured with Casante's mobility would still be able to at least stay somewhat close, but that is a massive, massive gap there.
Yep. Has played it well. Dignitas all converging here. Both sides actually sending members mid. Isles does show. Eyla and River are on that top side. River maybe looking for a potential dive or play up towards top side. You can see Eyla trying to get some vision through that river. And now you see some all-in pings actually going over towards the enemy red buff, so maybe they thought that they would be able to actually catch Spica as he clears up to here. We know that he's in on the Raptors, and Isles in the area as well, so 100 Thieves are trying to look for some sort of a play. They have the Blast Cone available, could look for a dive if they want to force.
Yeah, I think they really, really want to get topside control, maybe set up something on Licorice, especially since Grubs are about to be up, and they're going to want to get at least 4, potentially 6 for that Ziggs.
So could be a Senna ultimate and a teleport from Jensen. If you look at the minimap, this has taken so long. That play took so long. Jensen got the bottom wave pushed all the way into the tower, so he freed himself up to threaten a teleport counter, and they have a Senna ult to rely on coming through, so 100 Thieves have to call off this play that just took so long and kind of just stood there.
Yeah, and you always have to be careful about giving Nasus alone time on those towers. Obviously, he has the early sheen. The Q works on the towers. You can destroy those very, very quickly. If you get fully ignored, sometimes you can just ult on a tower and just farm plates, and it can actually be quite strong. Dignitas looking to take the grubs here, but 100 Thieves are in the area. We'll see if they pull the trigger to start this fight. Eyla trying to hover around on the side as he wants to look for Zven and Isles, who are both quite squishy. The TP now coming in from base here from Quid. We'll see if he can actually get the steal. Nocturne ult's going to get popped, and there's a flash forward. They're in onto Spica, trying to keep him alive. They can't do it. And the flash forward from Quid with the stolen Amumu ulti. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Quid. As he gets into the back line, they get 2 kills. And now Licorice is in trouble. Going to have to use the Cyclone defensively, trying to get out. Nice slow on the Quid there from Quid. Does land the Q. Tomo going for it. I don't think they'll have enough to dive, but they do force the flash out from Licorice, and 100 Thieves come up big in the first early exchange.
So we wanted to see something coming out of that first Nocturne out. We definitely did. They are able to get 4 grubs off of this, but yeah, Eyla goes in, then they're right on to Spica, and then I love this Amumu ult coming out from Quid. Really, really well done.
Yeah, he saves Eyla there by going in with the counter engage. The Amumu ult stops all the follow-up. They were close to finishing off Eyla, but he locks down Zven, so no follow-up damage. And then Eyla even got to walk down away from where Licorice was collapsing from the top side too. So you really do need to respect the immediacy that 100 Thieves can pull the trigger with. So a little bit risky there from Dignitas. Again, this brush is so critical to try and control the vision of when you're going for grubs. It is just such an easy area for your opponents to attack you and catch you on when you're trying to go for that objective. So nicely done from 100 Thieves to capitalize on that and just fully commit to the play. And we'll keep our eyes on the Sylas, because that was one of the things we were worried about. Thankfully for Dignitas, Sylas actually didn't get the kill credit on either of those, and they both did go to Nocturne, but maybe that's also not thankful for Dignitas, because now River's got a fully completed Stride Breaker, and the ultimate will be back up shortly.
Yeah, it's also one of the things I always find interesting about Nasus in pro play is, you know, when you think about solo queue Nasus, it's like they're holding a wave, they're queuing every single minion, they're getting maximum stacks. In pro, a lot of it is about pushing out waves and being able to threaten objectives and force responses. So Jensen isn't going to be able to sit there and last hit every single minion with his E. As you can see, he's generally getting like 2 or 3. You know, you always want to get the cannon for the extra stacks, but it's not him at some absurd number of stacks by any means this early on into the game.
Yeah, and the thing I'm most curious to see now from 100 Thieves is where they end up putting this Ziggs as well, because you really, he's taking a lot of poke damage in the mid lane, but you really want to get that outer ring of turrets down with the Ziggs power.
And I wonder if Diggs are just going to force something now, because they have Flash still for Spica. You know, the Amumu Flash, or the ultimate Flash is such a powerful tool. And look at their inventories. 3 Trinity Forces plus the Leandry's completed. So they have all their first item power spikes, and they're just going to try and force on the dragon. 100 Thieves, no reason for them to go over there. Again, the inventories plus the flash initiation available to Diggs, so they don't want to give over any kills. I think correct call by them. And we'll see about this dragon stacking timer for Dignitas.
Yeah, as they're going to go in mid lane. Zven in a lot of trouble here. The Fear Tether lands the Senna ult way too late. That's an easy kill for 100 Thieves on the engage.
Yeah, good. Again, like when River is going to be trying to use these ults to pick off high priority targets, that should give them first prio onto this Herald, and also keeping Ziggs mid hopefully means that he'll be able to get some damage onto that tier 1.
That is kind of crazy too, because Zven had Flash. Like, that was an Ezreal with Flash in mid lane, and Eyla was seen clearing the ward, and they just say, I don't care, and they full send. Nocturne ult in, Eyla follows up.
All right, Dignitas maybe looking for a fight. They're going to engage on his Spica. Spica gets in the back and gets an ulti on 2. Tomo's low, but they can't take him down just yet, and now it's Spica on a solo mission. He's got to flash out Jensen in the backline, and Quid snipes Spica with the stolen Senna ult, and now Jensen in trouble here. He's getting a fear tethered up, can't quite finish off River. Disaster for Dignitas. They get nothing.
And Quid is getting, again, we talked about the value of this Sylas pick into the composition that Dignitas has. He is getting so much out of the first 2 ultimates we've seen him steal in these team fights.
So well played here from the side of the 100 Thieves. And River has 3 kills on the Nocturne. He's quite rich now, so the map is going to get to that scary point we were alluding to in Champ Select, where we're evaluating 100 Thieves' ability to split push. and it gets so scary because Quid, Sylas here, very mobile and very dangerous split pusher with the threat of Ziggs bomb and Nocturne ultimate. It is really hard for enemies to deal with split push pressure. But look at that. It was a nice little bit of movement over, and the Q actually taking him with him. So Spica ended up in a rough situation there, but Quid stealing away the Senna ult. Perfect choice from him. This was the real kicker, though, because you thought it was going to be 1-for-1, and River actually had the 2 kills on him, too. So it would have been a really nice one to take.
Double flashed.
Yep. Just flash timers?
Yeah.
Flash timers. I mean, they just couldn't get in the back line. You know, Jensen was dealing a lot of damage, but Zven's ult didn't quite connect. You know, he wasn't really there to back it up. Spica, it felt like he went pretty early and maybe just wasn't expecting that satchel to bring him so far away from the rest of the teams. They couldn't really reinforce in time. That being said, you know, only after this tower was actually grabbed has the gold lead extended to really anything of note. It's just the 1.4K, and Dig do have those first 2 dragons, plus it's Hextech Soul on the horizon, so by no means are they out of this just yet.
Yeah, I see it as really 100 Thieves are going to have a big advantage in open map play and Dignitas in condensed map play, where they really want to take advantage of all their AoE here. Obviously, an Amumu plus Wukong combination is the dream. So maybe they can finagle like a jungle fight where the area is a little bit more restricted, but 100 Thieves are doing such a good job using their early lead here to take down the outer towers and make the map so open so that then you have to just have the fear of God, the fear of Nocturne Ziggs ult coming on from anywhere on top of your head. And the rest of the map just becomes hard for Dignitas to actually spread and farm.
But look at Jensen. No one's actually answering him right now. And I will say, Nasus, if you get a lot of gold, you can become difficult to take down as well. It does look like they're going to be able to grab this last tier 1, or at least chunk it low enough that they should be able to satchel it, and they're going to go into the back line at the same time. It's all out, and the Nocturne ult spent on Isles, and he is just erased.
This is just really good play. Again, take down all outer towers, and no place on the map is safe for you. They can just full send even in quote-unquote your own jungle. 100 Thieves, instantly Nocturne ultimate, nicely done.
Tower's
and
gone too.
They just got 3 towers. This sequence from them, they gave up only 1 to the Nasus split push, and they took 3 towers plus got the extra kill.
Yeah, it's so good because they actually started with just Ziggs pushing up mid, right? And you're like, okay, you're going to try to get turret damage there, but then they set up to take down this tier 1. They were able to get the kill over here. They were able to get mid turret, and then they were able to get this all off of that play, while Dig was only able to get that top tier 1.
Yeah, is going to be able to grab the bottom scuttle, just trying to get more and more stacks here for Jensen. He is kind of the hope. He's building towards that Frozen Heart, and if he's in a side lane, you know, Nocturne ults in, maybe he can survive. They are looking to play potentially towards this dragon and look to move towards Soul Point, as they have to keep Spica away from Quid. You can't actually give him that Soul and Amumu ult easily, so you need to be playing pretty far back. River, though, going to pink over the wall here, looking to try to find an angle in. Licorice as well, threatening on the side, and Eyla is hunting for them. Isles is poked out, and I think that's just going to be it. They're just going to have to leave.
Yeah, the threat was too much. Again, Quid already has that Amumu ult to respond, and they're able to get a ton of Ziggs poke damage down as well. This entire like little short run of play for the past like few minutes has been really nicely done from 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
And they've gotten now to a 3K gold lead.
Definitely love it. Just blowing the map open. They were never concerned about the dragon stacking because they get the early lead, open up the map, and make it harder for Dignitas to even set up for their dream fight. In the jungle, though, Jensen's going for it.
Yeah, he is going for it. The ulti is popped. The phase rush is there. They're going to try to chase in. They get the shutdown. Plus 12, stack him and rack him. He's going to chase down Sniper as well. He's withered, and he's got to run. Jensen flashing forward. It's the big dog on campus. Jensen knocks down 2, and now Licorice in the back line here. Quid does have the stolen ult. They're going to get a third on Tomo. How much more can they get? Isles can chase in as Licorice has found Eyla. It's going to be 4 for 0 here for Dignitas. How much more can they get? There are pings over on the Baron, but they are opposite side of the map. River's up in 10. We'll see if they're going to go for it. They're teeping into it towards it, so I think they want to try here. But River is going to be respawning, and this could get a bit dicey. We'll see how much time they really have, and if they think they can go go for it. I think they're going to call it off. Yeah.
There's Hex Gates and it's a Nocturne, so I guess you have to calm down the blood pressure a little bit here, but that was so hype. Jensen phase rush Nasus.
Oh, the ulti is popped from Nocturne. He's into the back line. He's onto the Senna. The Senna's surely going to go down. Tries to flash out of there, but he's dead already. Jensen on the other side is going to get shut down as well. And this could be a counter Baron now. They way overstay their welcome. They both go down. They got such a big swing there, and they just throw it back away.
Yeah, and we talked about how the rest of 100 Thieves are going to be up really, really quickly, which is why they couldn't do Baron.
Potentially Eyla caught, though. He's going to be popping the Magnet Storm. They're going to try to turn around, flash off the wall from River as Spica and Zven are on the run. That may have got them off the Baron, bought them enough time for the respawns. We'll see. Eyla is now respawning here. Jensen, they still need 15 seconds. The Baron is going down, but it's going down very slowly.
Jensen does have teleport
is spotting them, and Jensen does have TP. As you call out, nice clone there from Licorice to dodge the engage from Quid. Zven is getting them low. 100 Thieves are going to have to peel back. Senna ult over the top. Can they chase? I don't think they need to. Let's just calm it down here and see what they can get. They're going to try to counter Baron. Oh my God, we're just going to keep going. Jensen's back. Do they actually start anything here? They're trying to look for a turn, but the turn is pretty weak. They are now onto the Baron. They can have Eyla healing the back up, and Licorice is behind them. They haven't spotted him. Here comes Licorice. Surprise! The 3-man ulti from Licorice as we see Sniper go all out just to try to run away. Zven gets the first kill. They're in on Tomo. They're looking for another. Spica into the back line. Curse of the Sad Mummy grabs 2. They're able to knock down the Ziggs. Now, can they get more? They've got to get back to the Baron and start taking objectives, but the Baron takes are so slow for both teams that it just ends up in more and more fights.
And the Hex Gates mean they get back out there so quick. They're reset again. Now it's Quid and Eyla trying to defend.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it. Eyla trying to push forward. Quid looking for a good ulti to steal. Instead, he's going to go hunting for Isles. Can't find him with the Absconded Duct. And Dignitas will secure the Baron here. From the massive disadvantage, they seem to have pulled it back. It got dicey there for a while, but Jensen now is getting massive. Almost 400 stacks, level 14. This Nasus is a problem.
Jensen is massive, but the big difference maker in that fight leading up to posturing around Baron was Licorice, right? Like, no one saw Licorice coming in on this flank, and he's just going to be able to stay here as they're TPing in. They're going to search. They're going to start the Baron, and no one sees Licorice coming. And this is the biggest difference maker that sets up everything that happens next.
Yeah, they have 100 Thieves teleport Quid into the mid lane, but he's so far away that Dignitas, with their early jump onto the back line here, they've already taken care of the team fight by the time Quid is able to arrive. So Dignitas have been able to turn around this game in a sequence of Barons. That must have been like 4 Baron attempts in a row and 4 responses with the Hex
Practice
Gates.
makes perfect, Kobe.
Yeah.
But let's remember, it all started out with Jensen Nasus, bopping them on the heads, chasing them down the bottom lane with his phase rush, and getting plus 24 off of 2 of their heads.
And they're looking for more now. Nasus over in mid lane, splitting through these 2 lanes here. The wave clear is really only Tomo. No one else can actually safely clear waves, 400 Thieves. It does get very difficult if you get behind with a melee-heavy comp, which both teams do have. So we'll see if they're going to be able to hold it on. Jensen doesn't want to play too risky and is going to back it off as his team was resetting, and they're looking towards this dragon, trying now to move towards Soul Point.
Yeah, and they've got Jensen at 450 stacks now on the Nasus, continuing to stack ahead here. The Frozen Heart debuff here with the attack speed debuff is quite nice for them, and they secure the Scuttle Crab vision leading up. Nobody pushes mid lane first because this dragon goes down so fast. They want to get here immediately.
Yeah, River's over on the side. He can obviously join with the Nocturne ult. Quid has stolen the Amumu ulti, so that is going to be key. Dignitas need to be careful about this. Remember, Zven has no cleanse, so if he gets caught by that, he could be going 100-0. Needs to watch his positioning. He's trying to poke and prod, but it is always risky. They are pushing them back out for now as we see River moving over towards mid. He's now got the shove there. Is going to come back to join the team. Jensen now on the side is looking for a potential angle to get in onto the back line as Zven cannot be ignored much longer. He's starting to really chip away at them. Quid getting pretty low. Sniper getting pretty low as well. There's the Nocturne ulti as Eyla flashed forward there. Couldn't actually get it. Quid in the back line. It's flashed away from Zven. He only got the Senna. And here comes DK. Jensen's in the back line. Licorice has the ulti knocking him up. And Jensen is just dunking him. The Nasus is crushing through 100 Thieves. Dignitas are TPing for the end.
Jensen and Licorice have been impossible to deal with in these team fights. As the game has gone on, they'll at least be able to push in, get this inhib, potentially get some damage onto the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, definitely.
Eyla for defense.
They're going to go for the end here. Ayla's going to die. That's going to be them going Nexus turrets.
Yeah, let's see if they can get it done. Quid's going to be back up in 5, but they are on the towers, and I think this game is done. 100 Thieves had a good start, but Jensen on the Nasus mid, the first in LCS history, helps Dignitas claim game number 1.
And we talked about whether, okay, is Jensen going to be playing this? Maybe it's for Licorice top. No, he comes out with the Nasus, ends up being such a massive difference maker in the split push and in these team fights. And Nasus is kind of looking good, Kobe.
It was so nice. He went the phase rush version for the true chase down later, so you can have that mobility, so you can actually collect the kills, and he did just that. He farmed up to his 2 items. As you said, he got the counter plays and a lot of the split pushing, you know, trade cross map, and then just took over.
Well, I think we are just about wrapping this up. Excuse me, it scrolled back up. Single day tickets are officially on sale for the LCS Championship at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. Head on over to riot.com/LCS Championship to claim your spot. Now let's head on over to the LCS Lounge to break that one down.
Jensen Nasus.
Oh,
baby.
My God.
Bingo.
Who said Jensen can't play a fucking melee champ? Sorry for swearing. Australian, forgive me.
Yeah, it's an Australian.
I got hyped up watching his Nasus. He played really, really well in the early game. He was farming really, really well. And then obviously that blue buff, he just completely annihilated them.
We want to actually throw that clip up right now because the game was seeming very grim for Dignitas. It was 20 minutes, 15 seconds in. They were down about 3K gold. And it looks like a bit of an uncoordinated play because Jensen just goes in, but he's very powerful.
Wow, look at Nasus, guys. This champion seems fair.
Sniper takes himself over for his
I
own
made
demise.
a mistake.
Nasus doesn't even need a flash there if he doesn't want. I mean, I guess he just wants to kill him quickly to chase the others, but Xante cannot move. No one can move. Nasus presses E, breaks 40% of their armor, presses Q, one-shots them. Still champion, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, break down a little bit real quickly, just the laning phase of Nasus, because we've seen it. Chovy was playing Garen into it. It like really very recently exploded, and Jensen was doing the core Nasus things.
Yeah, you usually just go D-ring, and then you max your E, which is the wave clear ability and the poke. Against most mid laners, they don't really have the damage to all in you. Sylas is okay because obviously he can like trade with you with his Kingslayer and heal through your damage. But once you get to level 7, your E literally one-shots the wave with just a Doran's Ring. And you have a lot of life still. You one-shot the wave. Your ulti allows you to win all-ins. This champion is broken.
And then you have 45% armor shred with Maxi and teamfight, so you can win front to back.
So like you pick Xante into Nasus, he presses E on you. You're not a tank.
That is the most mind-numbing part about all of this. Is Nasus comes out of literally nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this game was just 100 Thieves completely destroying Dignitas for the vast majority of it. That one play happens, turns into a Baron fight, it just turns into a complete snowball against 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and this was basically the final fight. We were a little curious what Jensen was doing over on the side as the flanking Nasus, but Zven flashing that original engage by Quid on the bottom right of the screen was really big, and then it's just Nasus Wukong, once they're brawling, it's over.
Yeah, nothing they can really do at this point. That comp just gets completely outscaled, and they need to find an engage. Zven played it like perfectly. That was really, really good by Zven, so.
Yeah.
Kind of glazing Zven, low key, but it's fine.
Just a little bit.
Just the beginning.
Fudge and I were Team Dignitas before this. Raz, you have the 100 Thieves prediction. We have to toss to break. We'll see if they come back. We'll be here on the other side to continue talking about the series. Game 2 coming up next.
Oh my God.
Hello everyone, I'm Zven. I'm here with Jensen playing tandem against my teammates Spica and Eric.
Spica and Eric, yeah.
Yeah. And we're playing Yasuo versus Yasuo, I believe. I'm controlling the mouse, Jensen's controlling the keyboard. And on your side, it's what?
I got a mouse.
Speak on the mouse.
Yeah, you seem very
I got a mouse.
comfortable on the
mouse there.
Focus up, guys. What do we buy? Moonquiver, maybe?
Boots?
Boots.
No, Boots dagger?
Boots dagger. Okay,
no potion touches?
And then QWE. Wait, do I have to use the DPI? Can I change the DPI? I'm doing QWE, right? Can we pause and change the DPI? This is easier if I hold space.
Wait. Yeah, I think so.
What I'm used to.
All right. Oh, the mouse is so
Let's
small.
have, okay, we gotta lock it.
All right, let's practice. I'm gonna
Got
keep
that right?
Let's
What are you guys at?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh!
Wait.
Oh, you're kind of thinking.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh.
Wow, is it bad?
You guys are so bad, no? You guys are right. So low.
Wait. It has to be 2 kills, right?
It's two, yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I'm getting it.
Wait. You have to swap?
2 kills, right?
What do I buy?
Buy whatever.
No, don't buy something.
No,
Yeah, why are you buying something?
Buy.
I'm not buying. Yeah, nice.
Dude, basing is so insecure, no?
Yeah, agreed.
There's a portal.
Please, map.
Oh, I forgot. Wait.
Is there a portal?
No, there's no portal.
Freaks.
Oh.
Yasuo Q is the direction of the mouse, right?
Yeah.
I forgot. I was like trying to space
All
backwards.
right, we're gonna EQ. Yeah, stack the E.
We have more ammo.
Yeah. All right, we got that. Yeah.
We're good.
Oh, my bad.
You just stat check?
We got kind of it.
I think we won, no?
Hey, back. Q. Oh, yes! Push away. Skill? Skill?
Yeah, Q.
Oh, what the hell?
Okay, bye. Push.
Okay, wait, after this. Stop. Press B. Okay. Oh, wave is bad. Get the wave. All right, what do we buy? What did they buy?
Don't buy anything.
Don't buy it.
Buy super cringe.
Go. What is Mel?
No, that's
What is that? No, we need to win. Yeah. Sounds good. You want to send it or wait for the wave?
I think they might be.
Oh, he's almost 6. Yeah. Let's play slow, guys.
Gonna take the health back so they can't get it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's full HP though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Wait, what is that thing?
Yeah,
Come on,
it means it's like you do.
What is this gameplay?
What do you mean?
This is Jensen gameplay. Guys, I'm on the tower.
We should be a little lower if it was Jensen gameplay now.
Yeah.
You guys are so cringe, no? Like,
That's
What do you mean?
actually
We're playing perfectly.
extremely pathetic.
You guys aren't basing, right? Are you?
no, not basically. We're just in the bush for like for fun. Yes, it's like I think after the thing, I'll W.
Let's go!
They have a little lead though. Oh, dude. That was actually close.
That was close.
It was not close.
It was not close.
Actually played us so well,
Not
no?
close at all.
Buying
played
10
us so
items
well.
is so pathetic.
Keep buying 10 items.
Oh my god. You guys were sweating for
Okay,
sure.
everyone, thank you for watching this extreme stomp. This proves bot laners and mid laners are superior to top side players, and thank you for watching.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hello?
Bro, what are you parking?
Seriously? What is that?
Remote smart parking assist. You could have parked anywhere.
They could have parked there. They could have parked there. They could have parked there.
Dude, why'd you put your new rig in the basement?
Didn't you hear? Bill's a good gillionaire now.
Basically, my new connection is so strong I can game anywhere. Check it out. We've got gamer rocker, gamer floaty, gamer couch.
Whoa.
It's got wheels.
Gamer bench, gamer throne, and gamer mower.
What's that?
It's hard to game while walking downstairs.
I get it.
That's smart.
Live like a gagillionaire with low latency everywhere. AT&T Fiber with All-Fi.